All right, friends, we ready? 10 seconds, get ready. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Foundations athletes Louis Lee and Rosemary Matossian taking on 21.1. Sean Woodland and Annie Sakamoto here with you and being joined by two-time CrossFit Games athlete Katie Hogan. Katie, thank you so much for being here. And I know you've had a chance to actually coach both of these athletes. What's it like working with them on a daily basis?
Oh, it's been such a fun experience. I've been working with them both for about 2 years now, and getting to see them progress through the years and even overcome different challenges, whether it be injuries or things like everyone's dealing with the pandemic. It's been really great to see them coming back day after day.
Well, and what a feat to see both of these athletes out here. So not just physically because of what they've overcome, but to put yourself out there as an athlete, whether you're an elite athlete or a foundations athlete or anyone in between, is really hard. What did you say to these athletes prior to starting this workout?
Oh, it's a great question. We all were chatting about it, and they're watching the games competitors warming up right in front of them, and it only makes the anticipation and the nerves grow even more. And we just kind of sat with them and said, Wes and I, well, what are you guys nervous about? And kind of let them get the jitters out by talking through it. And, without even knowing the workout, they kind of admitted some fears about, what if I run out of breath and I get tired? What if I can't finish or make a mistake? And it's the same thing that everyone's thinking and feeling right before the Open in their gym at home. And so we just talked through it, and yeah, those are realities, but hey, when we hear what the workout is, we're going to pick a strategy and we're going to coach you through it.
I think that's really important to note, Katie, that it really doesn't matter what division you're choosing, how many times you've done the Open. There is a heightened sense of excitement and a little anxiety. I like to call it excitement. It puts a more positive note on it when you do an Open workout. And that's kind of the, some people could say the bad part about it, but I would say it's the good part about it. Like, look at Rosemary, look at, she's 70-something years old and she's choosing to quote unquote compete, even though it's with herself at this age. And that to me is just beautiful.
I completely agree. And I think, age doesn't even have to be a factor because we're all feeling that. It's a competition against yourself and where am I at given the circumstances in my life over the last year or since the last Open that I participated in, and just how do I stack up, and exactly reframing it in a positive note of this excitement. This is a good thing. It means that you care about it. It means that it's important to you and that you're going to give it your best effort. And I think that's what CrossFit brings out in all of us.
The rep scheme is the same here, but the movements are obviously different. So we have jumping jacks or a step and touch like Rosemary Matossian is doing there on the left, and then bear crawls are what we are substituting for the wall walk. And it's a 5-foot increment, so they just have to one wall walk to start, and then one bear crawl to start, and then 3, then 6, then 9. So they are still have 605 repetitions in the workout, but just a different way to get there.
And I think it's important to note, so you see Rosemary doing kind of these step and touches right now. And just because the foundations piece has a standard, I think it's important for people to note that those standards can actually be scaled down as well. And so she's kind of blending two standards right here. She's doing the jumping jack, and then when she gets tired or out of breath, or maybe on purpose to save herself, she's doing some of the step and touches. And the most important thing is participation, right, Katie?
That's exactly right, Annie. And we actually created this strategy after it. And there's Wes kind of helping coach them through it, as we promised we would be there and have an ear for them to, or rather be in their ear as they're going through this. But Rosemary, one of her biggest concerns was, I want to make sure I don't run out of breath, and it could be a long workout. And sure enough, when they said jumping jacks, she looked at us and said, well, I might run out of breath, and what do I do? And so we pulled up the other scaling option and said, here's your back pocket plan. If you feel like you're running out of breath, go and do, and we picked a number. We said, hey, say maybe do 10 or 20 of these step and touch jumping jacks. You're getting the same range of motion. You're covering the same distance, right? But now you're able to calm your breathing back down. And rather than feel like, oh, I've gotten to a point of failure, or I need to sit down, or I need to stop. And we've all had those moments in CrossFit workouts. Rather than get to that point, we instead adjust that scale, and now she's able to keep participating.
Love it.
So Louis Lee is in his set of 9 bear crawls, and so he'll be doing 90 jumping jacks after this. And then Rosemary is getting done with, or she's just started her 9 bear crawls as well. So 119, that's the number they're trying to hit. And now Louis is done with that, and he'll go back to the jumping jacks. So 90 here for him, and then Rosemary is getting set to join him as well.
Look at how fast his jumping jacks still are. I don't think I could do my jumping jacks
I'm so
that
proud
fast.
of him. He's doing such a great job. And Louis, last year, he was participating in the Open for the first time, and he was so excited. I was just like, it was contagious. I was like, it reminds me of how I felt the first time I was competing. And he was so eager to compete in the scaled division last year, and so we made it happen. And I know that was something he wanted this year, but the greatest part about it is he doesn't have to feel like he's not participating just because he's doing the foundations and not the scaled. He was kind of on the fence today, and we talked about it. We looked, and just wasn't worth it given some shoulder pain and injury he's had in the past. It wasn't worth it to push and try to complete the scaled wall climb, which is, I think, just a shorter distance. Said, let's stick with the bear crawl. Let's make sure you're fresh and able to compete the next 2 weeks. And sure enough, I'm sure he's getting a great workout, regardless of the it being foundations versus scaled.
I think that's really important, Katie. When thinking about a lot of athletes, it's the longevity in the sport of CrossFit, right? And the longevity just in the Open, the 3 weeks. You know, it's really easy to go all out on that first week and either get injured or just burnt out for the subsequent weeks to come. And so I think I love what you guys told Louis. You know, the goal is to finish and finish well.
Exactly, 100%. That's exactly what we talk about every day in the gym. We're like, we're not trying to get it all done in one session. We're not trying to get it all done in 1 week. And sure, all the gym owners and coaches out there tell their athletes the same thing. And the Open is no different. Sure, it feels like the stakes are raised, and in a way they are, but we have to remind our athletes that, hey, we want you coming back tomorrow. The Open isn't an excuse to stop training and, oh, well, I don't train all week because the Open is on Thursday, and then I don't come back again until that's silly. We've got to make sure we stay on our plan. The Open is another workout. It feels more intense maybe. That's great. Use that fire. But remember that, hey, we're coming back the next day, business as usual. We can't go for broke on this one workout and, risk going too far.
So Louis is now on his set of 15 bear crawls. So at the 224 mark is when he will move on to his 150 jumping jacks. So this is where the things start to get difficult as the reps go way up. I mean, just to give you a comparison, there are 11 reps in the first round. There's 231 in the final. So things get turned up a notch as we move through 21.1, and we are just about at the 8-minute mark. 15-minute time cap here for the Foundation's athletes, Rosemary Matossian and Louis Lee.
And I know Wes is down there kind of giving them some reminders of where and how to rest, where the judges, of course, are the ones keeping them on their repetitions and when it's time to move on to the next exercise. And that was sort of a good reminder for the athletes before it was time to start that, hey, you listen to Wes for the coaching and you listen to the judges for your repetitions. And that's sometimes a distinction that newer athletes aren't always aware of. But the coaching piece in the Open is sometimes something that gets left behind. You know, gym owners and coaches are so excited to set out the tape lines and get everything ready, they forget that someone needs to remember to coach the athletes, not just judge them. Important piece there.
And I think, like you said, it's important to separate those two roles, right? Because it's easy to be encouraging as a judge, but it's also, you kind of just got to be on repetitions there.
Absolutely.
So to have Wes down there coaching them through it is excellent.
So Louis Lee is through 217 repetitions. He has 7 bear crawls to go, and then he'll go back to his jumping jacks. Rosemary Matossian is through 214 repetitions. She is also on her set of 15 bear crawls. So both of them looking to hit that 224 rep mark, and then it's back to the jumping jacks.
Has anyone done the math with how many total feet they're going to crawl?
No, that would be good math right there. I was just thinking, I think this would be a really hard workout.
It is.
I agree.
Right?
Maybe it's better not to know that number.
And when you think about jumping jacks, they're very similar to double unders as far as the bounding goes. You are essentially jumping the same number of times those elite athletes did.
And I think what's really cool, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this with the different shutdowns across the world because of the pandemic, a lot of people who were regularly going to the gym and maybe using a jump rope, they were found themselves at home maybe without that simple piece of equipment. And I know for myself included, we would program a lot of jumping jacks as a substitute. So these athletes are used to seeing this as the modification, if you will, for the jump rope.
We did too, Katie, and the jumping jacks would get me going. I mean, they had, yes, one more bear crawl for Louis Lee, and he's on to 150 jumping jacks. Rosemary's doing great too. She just has 3 more lengths of bear crawl before she moves on to her jumping jacks.
So unofficially, when it's all said and done, Neil Maddox is here with me doing some math. 275 total feet.
Oh, thanks, Neil. Wow. We'll tell the athletes that at the end.
Louis Lee is on his set of 150 jumping jacks, less than 4 minutes to go before we hit the time cap. And Rosemary Matossian just finished up her set of 15 bear crawls, so she will now join Louis on the jumping jacks.
I just can't stop smiling watching these two. This is the coolest thing, and
I wanted to ask you, when you first met both of them, did you ever think that they would say, yeah, I want to go do an open announcement live in front of the world?
No, absolutely not. And you know, I have a reason for that, because we were actually regularly using a lot of the athletes from the program in different videos. Anyone that was regular on CrossFit.com, or meaning looking on CrossFit.com, you would have seen these athletes doing different scaled versions. We were trying to use them as an example to the community of how to make these adjustments to train in your own home. And this was even before the pandemic started. And specifically Rosemary, she always turned me down when I said, hey, I could really use you in a video. She said, oh no, I don't want to be on camera. And look at her now, star in the show, one of the open athletes. It's pretty cool.
I love how composed she's been the whole time as well. And I mean, she looks like Eye of the Tiger right there, right?
She is. And both of them are, you know, the kind of athletes in the gym where as soon as you see them get out of the car and walk towards the gym, you're already smiling and happy to see them, and they're saying hi to everyone and rooting each other on. It's just a great experience. These two specifically have been in class together for the last several months since we were able to reopen. And so they're already, you know, gym buddies, training buddies.
Awesome. Just about 60 jumping jacks left for Louis Lee, and he moves on to that final round of bear crawls and jumping jacks.
He's got 50 to go, so 374 is the mark Louis is trying to hit. Same with Rosemary. They're trying to get to that 374 rep mark, and then they'll try to get as many bear crawls in as they can. So less than 2 minutes to go, and Louis keeping that pace.
He's doing great. And I saw Rose, she was doing some of that breathing in and out through her nose to kind of keep her heart rate down while she was doing the stepping jack. So really good to not just have a scale practice, but also a breathing technique if you are someone that tends to run out of breath quickly, and if that starts to worry you. We practice not just what she's going to do, but you can see right here how she wants to breathe. And then she's ready to go back to the jumping jack.
You can just hear the fans going nuts. And I mean, like you said, Katie, it's really hard not to stop smiling. This is what's so inspiring about CrossFit,
Absolutely.
Right? It's seeing people like Carrie and Christy get at it, and then it's seeing people like Louis and Rosemary get at it, and it's just the proof that it really is for anyone.
It gives me chills. I told them that. I said, you have no idea how much people are going to enjoy watching you guys. You are not the after show. Everyone loves watching the games athletes, but you are who they can relate to.
Exactly.
I think we first did this in 2014 as we have 45 seconds to go here, and I really wondered how it was going to go over. And once they started, I went, oh, this is great. People are going to love this. And it's fantastic watching these athletes get out here and lay it on the line for everybody. That is not an easy thing to do.
No.
So proud of them.
So Louis Lee is now on his set of 21 bear crawls, trying to work through these as we now have about 20 seconds to go before we hit the 15-minute time cap.
He has about 18 reps left. Probably won't get there, but made a great dent in the round of 21s. Very impressive.
The final seconds here, and the few people who are in the building are definitely behind these two athletes. 2 seconds and 1, and that will do it. Just an inspirational effort from Rosemary Matossian and Louie Lee. And Wes Pyatt and Katie Hogan, I don't think, could be any prouder right now.
That's for sure. So cool.
So a pair of Foundations athletes throwing down in front of everybody, and that was a lot of fun to watch. And it just shows you, like we've been talking all night, it's not about what you can't do, it's about what you can. And if you can do this, you can do the Open.
Definitely. I can guarantee you there's a bunch of people that just went and signed up for the Open after watching that.
So once again, instead of wall walks, it was bear crawls, and instead of double unders, it was jumping jacks. And, you know, I'd say good coaching here, because Louie was able to keep that same pace on those bear crawls pretty much throughout the entire workout. Did take some breaks here and there, but when he was on his hands, he was moving.
I love that smile from Rosemary. And like I said, I just loved how composed she was throughout the whole workout. Look at her right there, just kind of stoic. You know, eye of the tiger. She knew just what she had to do to get through it.
And
Super
Rosemary
impressive.
the whole time with a smile on her face, and Louie, again, just inspirational performances from both. So the official results, Louie Lee with 378 total repetitions, and Rosemary Matossian puts up 363 in the Foundations division.
All right, Rose, we talked before. We didn't know what to expect. Now we do. You look so composed. Like, was it an adequate stimulus for you?
Very, very stimulating.
And what did you find to be the most difficult part?
The jumping jacks. Yeah, the cardio part of that. It worked spacing it well, doing the steps and then the jumping.
Yeah, I love to see that. So was that a strategy before, or was that just the push in the middle of it?
No, I sort of figured out I would have to do it, so I thought of it beforehand.
Okay. It was fantastic. It was really fun watching you. Great job, and I'm sure everybody at home is proud of you as well. Louie, how about you, man? What was the make or break for you? When did it set in? When were you like, oh, this is real?
The 15 bear crawls, that's what it set in. The jumping jacks were good, but 15 bear crawls kind of got to you.
Cool. We talked about nerves before this. Where are you at now? Like, where does this rank kind of in the things that you've done where you put yourself out there?
Wow. Once you get started, I mean, it's just like any other workout. You're into your workout, you're just thinking to yourself. So nerves went away quickly. But.
Cool. Well, I'm going to talk to him in a second, but I would like to hear you talk about your new coach, Wes, and tell me kind of like what an impact he's had and what it means to kind of have a coach like that for someone who's on a journey like yourself.
Wow. I can't think of words to say. Wes has been inspirational. You know, when this closed down, I followed him over to Gilroy to Coast Range CrossFit, and I mean, he teaches me so much every day, just about everything, and I'm able to share it with my friends and my family, so thanks, Wes. I really appreciate it.
He's man. Congratulations tonight, man. Really proud of you. Wes, come on over here, man. I want to talk to you. As a man who's been on the CrossFit Games floor as a competitor before, but also someone who's really passionate about coaching, like how does it rank to see your athletes succeeding in front of you as compared to doing well yourself?
Oh man, it's undescribable. Yeah. You know how absolutely proud I am of not just, you know, Rose and Louie, but everybody that we had in the health class and everybody what we've seen happen over the last few years that you started actually, Rory. So thank you very much for getting this thing going. Yeah,
I got to be a part of it. It was a great honor. How about as an 11-year veteran of the Open, seeing these divisions and more accessibility? Like, what does that mean to you?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I've been trying to get my mother and father-in-law to do this stuff for forever, you know, and so now them getting to watch these guys do it and seeing that this is an option for them makes it accessible and makes it like, oh, what Wes has been saying for the last years is actually true, you know? Yeah.
Well, I was so grateful for you, man. So grateful for what you've done with these guys, what you continue to do with your own affiliate. So thank you so much.